Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have a guest on from the LaGrange Police Department. Also, I will have on the coordinator for Paint the Town. So make sure that you stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment.
Just what you're hungry for. It's in downtown LaGrange. You have 17 restaurants to choose from, and each has its own personality, from chef-driven establishments to life on the casual side. Celebrate, create traditions, make new friends, discover new tastes. Downtown LaGrange is simply delicious. So come on down.
Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with one of the LaGrange Police Department's finest. I'm sitting down with Sergeant Dale Armstrong. Sergeant Armstrong, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you each time and talk about various things that are going on in our community. And I want to first of all just say thank you to the men and women in blue that protect our city, make our city a safe place to live. So thank you all very much for what you do.
Well, I'll say thank you on their behalf.
Well, thank you, sir. Look, you're in the patrol division. You've been there for a number of years now. Talk a little bit about your role there in the patrol.
Okay. Well, I've been working on my 30th year there. Been in uniform my whole 30 years.
30 years.
Mm-hmm. So next month. So, but like I say, presently I'm in the traffic unit, and I also supervise the court security at the municipal court.
Oh, okay. All right. I can remember back in the day when I was down there. It just, seems like only yesterday. I think you and I started together, and I think I did some FTO training under you.
I know you did.
I think you're right.
And I think you received some outstanding training while you were in
that
FTO program.
Absolutely.
I think you did.
Well, let's just talk. We ride around our city, Sergeant, and we see cars sometime, and I know that again you guys see it firsthand. I got an opportunity to do a ride along with you some time ago, and we pointed out some of these things that happen in our community, and one that always just kind of stick out to me, and I'm sure you see it as well, is blocking of intersections.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit for us.
Okay. Well, that phenomenon, even though what a lot of folks understand about blocking intersections, it's an aggressive driving behavior, because what you're doing, you're driving to impose your will on others, meaning you're blocking the intersection, you want to get through there, and you don't care if anyone else can get through there while you're in there. So that's an aggressive driving behavior.
Okay.
So, and it used to be, Parkway and Lafayette Parkway and Morgan Street, you'd see it there, maybe Lafayette Parkway and Greenville Street, Lafayette Parkway and, Morgan and Greenville Street, Lafayette Parkway and the bypass road. Okay. But now we're seeing it more and more throughout the city, and where there's a traffic light. And what people are doing, or drivers are doing when they're doing that, is they're really not paying attention what's going on in front. The light's green, but if there's a car stopped at the other side of the intersection, there's nowhere for you to go. So you should sit on your side of the intersection where the stop bar is, and keep that intersection clear, because when you block the intersection, not only can other people go, but emergency vehicle can't get through. They have to wait on you to get out of the way. So that keeps us from either police getting to you to help you, or fire trying to get to you, or ambulance trying to get to you. And like I said, also too, it's an aggressive job behavior, and it's just, it's unlawful, and it's unsafe.
Well, absolutely. And and then too, we don't want people to, like say, block it, but then they also need to realize and understand that, if you guys come along, there's a potential to be ticketed, correct?
That's right. It's a code section just for blocking the intersection in there. And like saying, it's unlawful for the reasons I said.
Right.
And all it takes is just, when you see the light turn green, if it's not safe to go, don't go. If you don't think you can make the light, then just sit where you are and catch the next one.
There you go.
Catch the next one.
Absolutely. And I think in most intersections, and I don't want to beat this too much, belabor it too much, but it's important. And I think most intersections have the signage there saying "Do not block."
Right. Especially around the square, but a lot of them do. That's right.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Talk about some other defensive driving behaviors that people need to be aware of. Because again, when we did the ride along, and we must do that again sometime.
We will. We need to.
We saw various things. Talk about some other defensive driving things that help keep people safe. Because you're going to bring about a statistic here that's pretty alarming. So just give us some other defensive driving tips.
Okay. Well, another one, of course, is don't speed. That's we were pretty serious about speeding. And of course, anything over the posted speed limit is speeding, but at the same time, you can speed by going the speed limit. For instance, it's raining today. So if you're on the interstate going 70 and it's raining real hard, or it just has the ground's wet, you shouldn't drive 70 miles an hour because you're losing traction because the ground's wet, and you also may lose some steering control because the ground's wet and all. So you shouldn't drive that fast. And then with that being said, also too, there's the following distance. A minimum distance of 3 seconds, and then you add a second for each adverse condition. Like today, it's raining. So since it's visibility is tougher because it's hitting, the rain's hitting your windshield, you can't see,
Right.
and because the ground's wet, that would be a 5 second following distance. 3 plus the extra 2,
Right.
and then
Okay.
and you do that. So that following distance and keeping your speed down will help you in most any kind of driving situation you run across. If you just do
Absolutely.
those 2 things.
Absolutely. And just, again, those common sense things, because before we came on, you were talking about the number of persons that die every day as a result of a traffic accident in the United States. Talk a little bit about that for us.
Yeah, we teach a defensive driving class every about 7 times a year at the police department. And one of the things I talk about is 119 people die every day on highways of the United States. That's every single day. We have about 40, somewhere between 30,000, 40,000 people, depending on the year, that die every single year. It's not just, 2013 was a bad year, or 2010 or 1999. It's 30 to 40,000 people dying every year. And that's 119 a day. And one of the things that we talk about in class, I ask them, I tell them 119 people are going to die today. How many of you want to be one of those 119? And of course, no one raises their hand.
Right.
I said, well, if you don't want to be one of those 119, how come you text while you drive, you talk on the phone while you drive, you speed, you run stop signs, you fail to yield the right of way, you block the intersection. So even though you don't want to be one of those 119, you consciously and voluntarily do things to increase your chance of being one of those 119.
Absolutely. And, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then I try to point out too, that none of those 119 intended to be one of those 119.
That's right.
They were just going to Walmart, they were going to soccer practice, they were going to school, and they just never made it. Never made it.
Absolutely. It's so important that, like you talk about the texting and driving, I think that's probably one of the top, I guess, occurrences that happen as a result of a person driving and texting. And I know that in Georgia we have the no texting and driving
That's right.
laws, and the hands-free thing as far as phones are concerned, but we still see people do it.
We sure do.
I can remember going through an intersection and I had the green light, and there was a car that was approaching from my right. They never paid attention to the cars that was stopped. They were in the right-hand lane, came straight through the intersection, never realized that they had a red light. And when they went through the intersection, I noticed what they were doing on the telephone.
That's right.
Had I not been paying more attention,
You would drive defensively.
right, absolutely. So, again, we just want the viewing audience to take in consideration these things. And these are real numbers here we're talking
That's
about.
right.
These are not fictitious numbers. These are real. One other thing I want to mention about driving, and then we're going to move into your court security. I was coming into work this morning, and it just it was funny, but it may not have been funny to the individual that it happened to. That I noticed that he had gone past a filling station, and he was just right beyond it, and had a gas can in his hand. Talk about people driving and running out of gas.
Well, a lot of times, with driving, there's only really 2 things you could control: yourself and your vehicle. Okay. So one of the things about your vehicle is, of course, you change the oil, you check your tires, also gas. That's one of those things too. So you have to make sure that your car can run properly. Without gas, of course, it can't run at all. But a lot of folks, they'll run out of gas. They'll take it to the limit. And that's bad, because sometimes you might be on the interstate. What if you're on the fast lane and you run out of gas?
That's right.
Or you're just on the interstate at all. So one of the things about being a defensive driver and a safe driver is making sure your things, your equipment works. The windshield wipers, the windshield washers, all of that is part of taking care of your car, so that way you can get to your destination safely.
Right,
All
absolutely. Very good. Then I want to just kind of change gears, because you also do court security for the LaGrange Municipal Court here on Ridley Avenue. Talk about some of the things, and now we have the metal detectors there.
Yes, sir.
as people enter into the court system there. Talk about some things that you guys have found, and talk about things that people don't need to bring when they come to court, if you don't mind.
Well, because of things that have gone on around the United States at courthouses. I think remember a year ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, where they had that shooting outside of Forsyth County courthouse, which is not that far up the road.
That's right.
So we've implemented some security procedures, and one of them is, like you said, the courthouse, the metal detector. So everyone that enters the courthouse on a court day which we do that 3 times a week now. But whenever you come to court, any spectator, attorney, a defendant, witness has to come through the metal detector.
Okay.
And the process for that is just like you do at the airport. Okay, we have baskets. You put your equipment in or your property in your baskets, and you walk through the metal detector. If it doesn't go off, which means it didn't detect anything large metal, then you can proceed through, or if it does, we wand you real quick, see what the metal thing is. And it's usually your belt buckle. It could be your buckles on your boots if you have boots, steel-toed shoes, cell phones, that like the iPhone or something, might set it off, keys, change, all those little things, it detects big things and metal things. And then we find a lot of that, some folks will bring they bring a pocket knife or something like that, and we don't allow any weapons in the court. Okay, so no firearms, no knives, and a knife could also be considered that on your nail clippers. Some of them have like a nail cleaning knife. Well, that can't come in because that's a sharp edge, and we don't want it in there. Because we're there to keep everybody safe, not just the defendants, but everybody's in there.
Absolutely.
So we don't allow that stuff. Food or drink, that's not allowed inside the courtroom.
Right.
We find a lot of pocket knives, and what we try to do is if we catch at the beginning of the screening, like you drop your pocket knife into the basket, we'll tell you, hey, look, you can't bring that in here, you need to take it back to your car.
Okay.
And they'll go, okay. And if you come through the screening and we find a weapon on you, then you're subject to arrest and things because you're bringing a weapon past a security checkpoint.
Okay.
That's just like the airport. You can't do it there,
That's right.
You can't do it at our courthouse either.
Absolutely. And I know that you guys do a wonderful job there, and you say you have court there quite frequently now. I understand. I know that the number of individuals coming into the municipal court system has increased. I can see them sometimes standing out. So like you said, it's for protection and not only for those that are coming in, but for those that are there, court clerks and all of the rest of the individuals
that's right.
as well. All right. Well, you guys do a great thing and great job of doing the things that you do. And again, I just want to say thank you to you and the team, because I know that you have a couple other officers there to helping you out with that.
That's right.
You want to mention those? Yeah,
it's a team. Yeah, we have currently right now. There's Officer Sivers is there and Officer Wesley Ingalls there, and we have another officer that's generally assigned. Officer Ward, he's not with us right now. He's out in extended leave right this minute. But it's them, and then of course I supervise them, and we all work as a team to get court through, and it's been working pretty well, I think. And it's more complicated than folks realize.
Absolutely,
court security. It's an important job, and I'm glad we're doing a real good job at it.
Well, good. Anytime you deal with the public, that's always an important job, and you want to make sure you do it safe and right.
That's right.
Well, Dale, sir, thank you very much for being on today and sharing information with us. Always a pleasure to sit down with you. We got to schedule our ride along again, okay?
We know it.
All right.
We'll enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have the coordinator for Paint the Town Pink here to give us some information. I have Laura Breifogel sitting down with me today. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Alvin. Appreciate it.
Well, great to have you on today. Laura, I know that you and I have known each other for a while, and I know your husband. But tell the listening audience, and I know that people know you in the community, but tell them a little bit about Laura, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, my husband Sam and I have been in LaGrange for 22 years, and we've just enjoyed raising our kids here. We have an empty nest now, so a little bit more time to get involved with the community. And I just love doing community stuff. But I've done Paint the Town and coordinated a couple, like 5 years ago, and have just been asked to do it again this year.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to it.
All right then. Well, I can remember you talking about Paint the Town, and we were talking before we came on. I can remember years ago, back in my previous jobs, we did a program similar to this where we would bring in kids from outside. They were sponsored by the North American Mission Board of Baptist Churches, and we have kids that came in and they did rehabilitation and painting and minor repair work to homes here in our community. And I think that was picked up later on by, I think, Mr. Frank Cox.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, Frank Cox, many people know him in the community. He was a real community-oriented guy. He was served on the board of DASH, and he saw the need for, you know, houses needing to be painted and wanted our own community to get involved in this. So he started this 10 years ago.
That's right. Okay. And
So,
here we are, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, and one thing I wanted to say, a lot of times people get confused. There's a Paint the Town and a
Right.
Paint the Town Pink.
That's right.
And Paint the Town is basically a program where homeowners, low-income homeowners, are getting their houses painted for free.
Right.
We have it once a year, usually right after Memorial Day. Paint the Town Pink is a breast cancer awareness program run by Wanda Lau
That's
in the
right.
community, that they have a big march and try to raise money for that program. So anyway, just wanted to
Both great
get that
programs.
clear. Yeah,
Absolutely, because and you're correct, though, Laura. 'Cause a lot of times people will get it, you know, associated with Paint the Town Pink, which is a wonderful program as well. We talked a little bit. Mr. Frank Cox, who was a board member over at DASH and everything, picked this up and saw the need to carry on, you know, the assistance of homeowners, and I think that's one of the qualifications. Talk a little bit about what you all look for as far as homes, Laura.
Okay. Basically, we want the home to be, you know, of course it needs to be painted, but one that doesn't have a lot of repair work that needs to be done. The repair work needs to be done first. You know, we don't want to be painting a lot of rotten wood or anything. And this program does not have the funds to do rehabilitation.
Okay.
Basically, we're just going in painting houses. The homeowner needs to actually live in the home. We're not doing rental homes or anything like that.
Okay.
And it's based on income. So like when the homeowner calls me, I'll kind of walk them through. We'll have a little interview process. There's an application, and we'll make sure they're in the right income bracket to qualify for it.
Okay, well, very good. Let me ask you now, homeowners being perhaps the #1 criteria that you are looking for, is there any certain area, what's your boundaries, I guess?
Oh,
Laura?
okay, good question. Most of the homes that we paint are in LaGrange because that's where most of our teams are. But you know, it's a Troup County program, so we will be looking. We're also accepting homes in West Point and Hogansville, and you know, possibly we will also look at ones in the county.
Okay, all right, so you
Yeah,
pretty
so
much the Troup County
yeah,
area. Okay, well, very good. You mentioned about teams. How do you bring your teams together, or are you
Okay.
looking for teams?
Oh yes, we are looking for homeowners and teams. We're
Okay.
gonna. Our goal is to do 15 houses this year, and the teams, it just kind of varies. We have church teams. Some of them are youth groups. Some are just, you know, variation of ages. Some businesses and corporations have teams, and basically anyone who wants to get a team together. The average number might be 8 to 10 people. Sometimes the big companies will have large teams that can paint a house in a day, although it's usually doable within a week.
Okay.
So yes, we're looking for homeowners and teams and donors, sponsors.
Okay, well,
we
very
need
good.
all.
All right. We talked about, you said, I heard you mention about some teams can do a home in a day. What is the dates of the Paint the Town this
The
year?
actual date, it's the week after, or the week, I guess you could say, of Memorial Day.
Okay.
So the day, we're going to start the Tuesday after Memorial Day, which is going to be May 26th through May 31st.
Okay. All right.
And that's when most teams paint during that week. We have support, we provide lunches, the paint, of course, water, snacks, t-shirts. But you know, we are flexible. There's some teams, we've already got one team set up to paint during spring break when the kids are available.
Okay.
So, you know, we're flexible with the dates.
Okay, well, very good. So you have a goal of 15 homes to paint this
Yes.
year. You're looking for teams, and a team can be any size, like 8 to 12 or more.
Oh yeah.
If someone was watching and they wanted to form a team, what do they need to do in order to let you know that?
Okay, please call me. We actually have three ways of getting it, or three ways of communicating. My phone number to call is 706-489-9721.
Okay.
We also, I have an email account, which is going to be just Paint the Town TC. That's for Paint the Town Troup County.
Okay.
paintthetowntc@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then there's a website if people want to get more information. That's paintthetowntc.org, and that also has my contact information.
Okay, well, very good. Now, you mentioned about donations, and of course we know paint being one of the donated
Yes.
things that you all need. Are there any other donations that you all accept for this event, Laura?
That's the main one. Now, the teams have to provide their own paint brushes, rollers, ladders, stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's really the main thing. Now, we do need sponsors to provide the lunches.
Okay.
If there are any restaurants, a lot of times it's been fast food restaurants, but any restaurants are willing to provide lunches for a day, or maybe some goodies for the teams. I like to reward them any way possible.
Okay.
You know, we do provide T-shirts, but in the past we've been able to give coupons for different meals and things like that.
Okay. Now, when you asked about a restaurant sponsoring, do they have to do it for the entire time, or can they just do it for one day? Or
One day.
One day.
Usually we have a different restaurant sponsor each day.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, very good. And again, if someone wanted to volunteer, they could contact either one of those numbers as well. The same numbers for donations. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So you have volunteers and also donations can contact you through that information there. Now, let me ask you, because you guys have done this now for 10 years.
This will be our 10th year.
This will be the 10th year. How many homes have you all impacted, you think, throughout there?
I'm not sure of the exact number, but I do know that we are slated to paint the 150th home
150?
during this Paint
my.
the Town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So well over 100.
Absolutely. Well, and that's a wonderful thing that was been continued on, because a lot of times when you go in and you do these things for people, I remember back from the days of old, it was not just doing that for that homeowner, but it was also a mission for the individuals that were involved, to get opportunity to get to know that homeowner, to share with him or her.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the job is the relationship with the homeowners and getting to know different people in the community, getting to know different neighborhoods, and hopefully the teams connect as well a lot of times. I mean, we had one homeowner who decided she was going to cook for everybody. So she got her grill out there and cooked out and provided a great meal.
Oh my.
Better than any than a lot of restaurants would
meal,
do.
right?
A home cooked meal.
That's right.
And what else? I mean, I went to church with one. We went to each other's churches for a while, and yeah, I love the relationships. And the teams tend to develop a relationship with homeowners well, which is a good thing. I mean, a lot of times they're working together to paint the house.
Oh, okay, well, very good. Now, let me just ask, as we get ready to close out, Laura, I heard you mentioning that the groups are not equipped to do like rehabilitation type work. Now, have you all run into any homes where you weren't able to do the painting because of? Yeah,
sometimes if it's not in good enough shape, we'll recommend that the homeowner go through a program that Dash has for rehabilitation. They do have to help pay for it. It's a low interest loan, but we might recommend that they go through the rehab program 1 year and then the next year have the house painted.
Okay, okay. Well, very good. And that's a way of helping, Dash keep a pipeline of individuals too.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that, they may not be necessarily able to get to them, in that year, but maybe in years to come they can get to them and to help them with those rehabilitation needs there as well. Was great program, Laura. Thank you for chairing it. I know that you get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the years back when the kids would come to town. I got great enjoyment out of it, just to see the smiles on their faces, and again just to have the mission work that went on as well there. So if you don't mind, just because I know you gave three different sources of numbers and contact, just for our viewing audience, go ahead and give those contact numbers and information one more time if you don't mind.
First of all, the number is 706-489-9721. And the email is paintthetowntc@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then the website is paintthetowntc.org.
All right.
So I hope to hear from lots of people
Okay.
really soon.
Well, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting down with Laura Breyfogle, the coordinator for Paint the Town for 2015. Your 10th, this is the 10th year, but you're a
10th year.
5th year as coordinator, correct?
No, actually my 3rd year.
3rd year as coordinator.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you 2 extra years there. Sitting down
Hopefully
with
I'll
Laura.
get to do it 5 years.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, you have to be careful of what you ask for now. Well, Laura, I want to thank you very much for being on the show today and talking about Paint the Town. So, ladies and gentlemen, by all means, give her a call. It's for a very worthwhile cause. It helps our community to be the community that we need to be.
Okay.
So
Well, thank you, Alton,
very
for
much.
having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment.
Just what you're looking for. You'll find it in one of the 28 shops in downtown LaGrange. Remember old school customer service? It's still here. Not to mention that perfect gift. That's the beauty of downtown LaGrange. So come on down.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been from the LaGrange Police Department, Sergeant Dale Armstrong, as he talked to us about some safe driving tips that we all can benefit from. So by all means, keep those in mind. Also, I had from Paint the Town, the coordinator, Laura Breyfogle, as she talked about the upcoming event that will be held on May the 26th through the 31st. So by all means, if you want to be involved, give her a call at the contact numbers that she listed there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed those interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.
Hi, my name is Bobby McClellan. I'm here at the City of LaGrange Garage to talk to you about a few winter care tips for your vehicle. The first thing I'd like to talk about is, of course, your battery. Your battery is very important to your vehicle because if you don't keep up the maintenance on it, it will leave you stranded during the winter because winter times are very cold and hard on the batteries. The first thing you may want to check is your battery corrosion on your terminals. When you take a look at it, you have a positive and negative terminal, and the battery corrosion starts to build up and looks kind of like crust on the battery itself. Now, it's very simple and easy to clean these off. You can go to any general parts store and pick up a can of spray cleaner. They're usually less than $5 and look something similar to this here. So you just spray it on the battery itself, on the 2 terminals, let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes, and just rinse it off with water. What it will do when it starts to actually react with it was, it'll be a yellow color, and it'll turn red as it reacts with the battery acid and corrosion on the terminals. All you have to do then is let it sit for a couple minutes and rinse it off. After that, you may want to get a little project pack, which is usually less than $2, something similar to this here, and you can put this on the battery terminal. It's a gel that actually helps prevent and keep the batteries from corroding. Another thing you may want to check is how old your battery is. On most batteries, there is some sort of stamp date or date code on the battery. On this one here, if you look at it, it says B2, which stands for February of 2012. So this battery is not quite a year old. Most battery life is, say, 3 to 5 years is just general battery life for it, and you need to keep an eye on that and make sure you don't get stranded because your battery is too old. That is just one simple tip that you can do for your car during the winter from the City of LaGrange. These are just general care tips for your vehicle. Please refer to your owner's manual for any vehicle specifications.